You are now tuned in to Hits 92.3, where we take great pride in personal expression of one's feelings, thoughts, or ideals. What you're getting ready to hear on this show are the opinions of the hosts and their guests, and they do not reflect the opinions of Hits 92.3 radio station, the brand, management, staff, their respective advertisers, parent companies, or affiliates. Now stay tuned as this show begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Legacy Crypto Builders. I'm your host, Diana Townsend, right here on Hits Radio 92.3. I'm here each and every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to dive into the transformative world of blockchains with a purpose. Join us as we explore how today's tech pioneers are building the legacy of tomorrow, one block at a time. Stay tuned. The future of blockchain starts now. Hello, everybody. I want to thank you guys for joining us here each and every Wednesday on Hits 92.3. I'm here always talking, representing Legacy Crypto Builders, always talking blockchain, cryptocurrency, AI. And I have the pleasure this week, I asked this gentleman, Mr. Brian Beane, would he join me here in the studio, because I had the pleasure of meeting him maybe like less than a month ago, probably like 3 weeks ago.
A lot has happened.
And as he said, a lot has happened. And I remember sitting in a room, actually before I got to a room, there was a gentleman that I'll forever, ever, ever be grateful to. I'll say two. One is Mr. James Dentley. He told me 3 years ago, he said, you move into Atlanta, you need to connect with Brian Beane. So I had that in my pocket. I didn't know Mr. Beane. I didn't know how we were going to connect. And then a gentleman named Mr. Demi Sanya reached out to me and told me, he invited me to an event that was happening here in Atlanta. He said he watches my radio show. And he said, we talk about all things finances. And I think you should come to our meeting that we're having this weekend. And maybe you should talk to our mentor, Mr. Brian Beane. I said, what did you say? And he said, Brian Beane was the host of that event. I said, I got plans, but I'm going to change those plans, because this is the second time somebody has said to me, I need to meet Mr. Brian Beane. So with that being said, I did make it to that event, and I had the pleasure of meeting with Mr. Brian Beane. And in a short period of time, I think we're on the road of cultivating such an amazing friendship, business relationship, and I'm excited. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. And thank you to those two gentlemen, Demi and James. Y'all spoken into existence. Here we are. Yeah.
All right. So to get started, just share a little bit with our Hits 92.3 family. Tell us who Brian Beane is.
Brian Beane is a native of Atlanta, Georgia. Long story short, went to Morehouse College, graduated with honors, but was broke as a joke coming out of school. So I'm one of the few natives left here in Atlanta that stayed here and went to college. Ironically, James Dentley, who you mentioned earlier, is one of my first mentors, one of the first gentlemen who took me under their wings when I was 19 years old, and I retired when I was 22 years old because I started learning some wealth principles early. I teach mindset and money. I want to give a shout out real quick to my mom. Rest in peace. My mom passed away on the 20th of this month. So I'm literally on the 20th of August. I'm 2 weeks away, 2 weeks from my mother's passing. And I say that because she instilled in me some nuggets at a very early age, 9, 10, 11 years old, that resonate with me to this day. So she gave me the knowledge I need on personal growth and self-development to become a thought leader. And then other mentors gave me the monetary, the game on money and capitalism to go with it. So Brian Beane basically teaches two things. I turn your instincts into income. I teach mindset and money, and we wrap it all together.
I'm gonna write that down. You want to turn them instincts into
I turn
income.
your instincts into income. Yeah, I got a very unique way of using animals to show you that you are God's highest form of intelligence on the planet. As an animal, you're also a human being, but most of us want to become something that we can't become until you actually become the person that you need to be first. So I teach instincts and I teach income, and that's what brought us together.
I know, I'm excited about it. At that meeting that I attend, it was called Game Changers.
Yes.
I want you to tell us a little bit about what was Game Changers, and then let me elaborate on what I got from it.
Yeah. So Game Changer is where we, again, shift your instincts into income. We basically show you for 3 days in a row how to become the person you need to become in order to have the things you want to have, but you got to do the things you need to do.
Wait a minute, say that again for the people in the back.
All right, for the people in the back, right? There's only one formula for success. There is one main formula for success, and that's be, do, have. That's why earlier I said we're human beings. We're not human havings. We're not human doings. God created us in the highest form of intelligence, so we're human beings. The problem is a lot of us want to have things without doing anything to become somebody that we're not. So what we have to do first, what we do a Game Changer, is we show you how to become a certain person. So you'll start doing certain things so you'll have the things that you want. And then, see, I lost my first $1 million in my 20s because nobody taught me these wealth principles that we're going to talk about. So a Game Changer, what I decided to do was I said, okay, let's spend 50% of the time making you a better person. Conflict resolution skills, communication skills, positive affirmations, how to attract anything you want, the art of manifestation, all these different things, goal achieving, not goal setting. I'm not a goal setter. I'm a goal achiever. There's a big difference. So we do 50% working on you, the human being, and then I use different animals. I have about 18 to 24 animals now that I've launched. Everything from the goose to the jaguar to the snow leopard to the silverback, and companies hire me to teach different animal instinct concepts and how they can make you a better human being. So that's the first half of the weekend. Then the second half of the weekend, we teach you wealth principles, right? How to survive in capitalism, how to income shift, how to invest without losing your shirt, and those kind of things. So we're perfect fit.
Listen, I sat in there that weekend, and if anybody knows me, they know I'm like just diehard football fan. So I had been waiting for like 2 months. There was an event. It was about women who love football, and I had a vending spot. I had my little Eagles gear already. I was excited about it, but because I knew I need to make that connection, I shifted my schedule a little bit, and I was only supposed to, in my mind, I was only supposed to go to the event for maybe to like a lunchtime or something like that, just to have that little opportunity. I went there for one thing and one thing only. I went there to have a conversation with you because I knew Mr. Dentley had told me to connect with you. And then I had done a little research and I had realized that MWR, which is the company you're a part of, they had the best, to me, trust.
Yes.
So I went there with my mindset like, okay, let me go here. Let me go say, hey, how you doing? See if I could get some contact information so I can talk to you a little bit more about the trust. Mm-hmm. So as I was sitting there, honestly, there was nothing in my brain that made me think that you was going to do this wow factor on me that weekend. Yeah, like, and I was just like, I'm listening to you, right?
That's crazy.
And I'm going, I'm not open. I'm not. I'm so closed-minded and I'm totally focused. If it don't have the word crypto in it, I don't even know what it is. I can't. But I was just sitting there like this. I was like, because everything you said, right, it was in alignment. It was personal development. And it didn't matter what business it was. Right. It did not matter what industry you're in. And I was sitting there, like you said, I'm not a goal setter. I'm a goal achiever. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there this whole time going, wow, like everything he's saying is just it was so real to me. It was so deep to me. And then I think it got to a point where you said, if any guest in the room, and here's my attitude, like, oh Lord, I gotta go to the front. I gotta go up here and sit. I really just wanted to have a conversation with you, but I gotta play my position. I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna sit. And then you started talking a little bit about the company. Mm-hmm. And as you started, I only knew one thing. I didn't know much about the company. I didn't know anything about the company other than the trust. Yeah. And then you went over the company. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Hold on. And you started talking about all of these different entities, which we'll get into in a little bit, that MWR has to offer. And I sat there and was like, oh my God.
I missed the game.
I was like, I missed the whole weekend because I went from thinking I'm going to do an hour or two at the max and I'm going to go switch up, put on my little Eagles gear. I got my cute little sneakers with my name on them. I was ready. They wasn't ready for me. I got my little shirt with my last name on the back. I was ready to roll up in there with my little Eagles outfit with my branded myself. And I got caught up into listening to you. And I was just in awe. I was in awe because once you started breaking down, and we'll go into that after break because I want you to just talk and I just want to write notes.
Yeah.
I just sat there and I listened to you and I realized like it was just like I was hit with a ton of bricks and I said, MWR complements what I do in crypto because I'm out here. I was talking to an attorney. I was looking for a trust. I know to fix my credit because of some things that have happened in the past. I haven't had a late bill in years, but still, I got some things that I know that need to fine tune my credit.
Take them off.
And I can't be sitting in a room where people be like, I'm in the 700 club, went to the 800 club, and just sit on the bench. And I'm like, what did they say? Everybody was, I went from 600, I went from 500. Everybody in the 800 club, I was like, oh, that devil's a liar. I'm getting in that club too.
There you go.
And I was just listening. And I was just like, oh my God, all these people that look like me are over here killing the game and their lives are completely different. And it was because I realized it was the education.
That's it.
It was the education. And I was like, I'm over here looking for this guy, looking for this person, looking for this. And it was all a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Right there in MWR. And then here's the caveat. After I realized what MWR has, I still listen to you all weekend. And I was like, just how I be doing people. You don't even know. I'll be like, oh, I want to work with him. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to jump up and down and be like, I don't need to do all the stuff that people do. I'm not even that type of person. When I make a decision, I made a decision and I'm not going to come and tell you anything. I'm going to put in the work.
I love it.
I'm going to put in the work and then you're going to realize, oh, she must want to work with me or let me go find her or let me do something because I realized that I think I was put on this earth to be in the project that I'm in with blockchain and cryptocurrency. But I feel like that's a done deal. You can't stop that train. It's already on its way, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I realized once you get to a certain place financially, if you don't educate yourself and you don't grow,
period,
you in trouble.
Yep.
So when I sat there and listened to you all weekend, it was like everybody to me needs a coach. And I felt like, okay, like we on track right here with the crypto and I'm on track with the blockchain. I'm where I need to be. But at the same time, I still felt like I had shared that with you. In crypto, we don't do a lot of personal development.
Yeah.
We don't do we set it and forget it. And we don't do the training that happened in that room. And I had missed that from the network marketing side of things. And you don't see people a lot. We're on Zoom.
Yeah.
We don't have that human interaction and that connection. And I was like, God, I ain't done that in like 6 or 7 years. And I was like, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. And I was like, I felt like I'm getting education, but on top of that, a phenomenal coach. Because I watched you get people out of their comfort zone. And I was laughing about it because I just know people that I deal with and I be fussing. I didn't see you do none of that. And I was like, I gotta get it together.
Yeah. You gotta kick them.
Fussing, Brian.
You gotta kick them in the butt with cotton shoes. Let's remember that.
Wait,
you gotta
I never heard that before.
With cotton shoes. Yeah, you can't wear your steel toes.
Man, I be having steel toes. They be double steel toes. You can ask anybody. I'll be going off, and I was like, he don't never change. Like his posture is just a certain way. And I was like, and you did everything with a smile.
Yes.
You did everything with a smile. I was like, see, I gotta posture up, but that just comes from being around people. But I watched you and I was laughing because I would see people in the hallway and they'd be like, oh my God, he gonna get me. He gonna make me go in the front of the room. They were scared to death, right?
Yeah.
But I watched how you coached them. I watched how you coddled them. I watched how you helped them to push past their fears. And I was like, I got to work on that and people have to take responsibility and say what they're good at and what they're not. And I'm like,
yeah, that's great.
Man, I'll be ready to snatch these braids out of my hair. I'll be going crazy. And I was like, okay, I got to get it together. But I loved it. I loved watching how you handled people. And I said, that's maturity. That was just, I listened to you say, I've been doing this almost 30 years. And then I was just like, okay, I ain't been doing it that long. I've been over here for like 6 years.
Right.
So that's still, I got to grow. But I did. And I was just sitting there and I was like, I so thank God for you because it made me feel like I want to be a part of that. Number one, because I felt like it was the energy in the room. It was your coaching. And I said, you were like the junior Mr. Dentley.
Okay.
Mr. Dentley have a way with people. He have a way with talking to people, helping you to push past your fears and to get out of your comfort zone. And I felt like that's how I felt like you get in a 2-for-1 special, because we're not talking to cousin Pookie over here. When I listen to you give a description of MWR, I got the impression these are the experts.
Yeah, these are the experts. So I'll give you a formula. This is very, very simple that we coined about 5 years ago. E plus E plus E minus E minus E minus E equals E.
Okay, wait a minute. E plus E.
E plus E plus E. That's 3 E's. Minus 3 E's.
3 E's.
E equals E.
Equals E.
Yeah, so I'll tie it together for you in a basic framework. Because everything you do, if you want something to multiply or if you want something to magnify, you got to put it in a framework. So this is our framework for the foundation of our organization, right? Your job as a listener is to expose. That's all you got to do. That's the first E. The first E is exposure. You're not here to beg. You're not here to persuade. You're not here to pursue. You're not here to follow up 52 times. We expose people to number 2, education. Okay. So exposure plus education. You see how that works? So the individual's job is just to expose. If you get excited about something, you want to expose people to what you're excited about. So when your third eye opens up and you start seeing that you don't have to overpay taxes, you don't have to wear that ball and chain called debt. You need to learn what a complex trust is. You need to learn what common law means. These are things that you need to understand, but you don't have to necessarily go out and teach. So you expose plus extra digit, we educate. That's our organization. You see what I'm saying? We educate. So you bring the exposure to us where we talk to them about a refund not being the best decision. Re means again, fund means money. So a tax refund is simply your money. Again, the government didn't do you a favor. We educate you on the rule of 72. How to make your money double. We educate you on there are double-digit returns out here where you don't have to lose your shirt. We educate you on the mindset it takes to be a millionaire. MWR executes. That's the third E. So now you got this triple threat. You got you, expose, people to extra digit. We educate you, and MWR executes. And another E, like under execution, is the experts. The execution / experts. MWR has the trust fund experts. They have the debt elimination experts. It's called our debt to wealth plan. They have the credit restoration experts, the bill negotiation experts, the precious metal experts. So now we don't have to know all that stuff. We just got to educate you on the fact that these experts exist to execute for you. But here's what you got to subtract.
Okay.
You got to subtract all these excuses. See, the reason most people don't succeed is because if you're good at making excuses, it's hard to excel in anything. You can excuse your way out of anything. Well, Brian, my friend, he broke his arm, man, so I can't make the meeting because I got to help him with his luggage and he got to catch a flight. Well, you understand, man, my basement flooded, the carpet got wet, so I can't be on the Zoom. I'm like, oh, you don't have no upstairs? You don't have no bedroom upstairs? So you can't excuse your way to wealth. Number 2, you got to remove all your emotions. You can't. Minus excuses, minus emotions. Emotions stands for energy in motion. So what happens is if somebody has bad energy, if you're not careful, you will accept their energy and their thoughts start to become your thoughts. So if you're emotional and don't have control over your thoughts and emotions, and somebody else's opinion of you, of what you're doing, about your decisions is controlling how you feel, then you'll get their results. So you can't be emotional when it comes to this formula. And number 3 is minus explanations. If I can't show you how to bring $1,500 to $2,000 a month back into your household with the money that you're currently spending, you didn't tell anybody about it, you didn't expose anybody to it, all you did was income shift, and I can't bring you $600 to $800 to $2,000 a month back into your household. If that explanation alone is not enough for you to take a look at it, then I'm not going to enroll you, which is the equals E. The final E is enrollment. So the way I enroll so many people, and the reason I've been blessed to have 30, 40, 50, $60,000 months in business is because of that formula. I know my job. That formula is called stay in your lane. You expose, we educate, MWR executes. I don't take a whole bunch of excuses. You need to control your emotions, and I'm not going to do a whole bunch of explaining. Once you get it, we enroll you, and then the train continues. And we call that formula simple. And we'll talk about that shortly if you want to. So how long we got today?
We got about another 40 minutes.
40 minutes. All right, cool. So
All right,
in a minute, remind me to talk about simple. Yeah.
We're going to take a quick little commercial break. So we're going to go to commercial break. Hits family. We'll be back in about 1 minute.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Calling all future content creators, Digital Media Masters is hosting a hands-on podcasting workshop just for teens aged 13 to 17. Unleash your main character energy and learn to create engaging podcasts with StreamYard on your Android or iPhone. Every Saturday from 12 noon to 3 p.m. at Hits 92.3. But act fast as only 4 slots are available per workshop. Sign up today at digitalmediamastersga.com. It's your moment to shine. That's digitalmediamastersga.com.
All right, I want to thank you guys for joining us here each and every Wednesday from 12 to 1. We're talking all things blockchain, cryptocurrency, and AI. And this week, I have the pleasure of interviewing Mr. Brian Beane. I wanted to talk about education. I wanted to talk about, that was my biggest thing with you.
Yeah.
Look, I'm watching them right. The formula is simple. I wanted to talk about it. To me, that's what it's all about. And I wanted, to me, I love to interview people that I have the opportunity to meet.
Yeah.
And I'll be wanting people to know, I'm like, y'all don't even understand, like, some of these people who God has blessed me to come into alignment with, because I just feel like, we always say you're a product of the closest 5 people to you.
Mhm.
And you don't know, but I have officially adopted you to be one of my closest 5 people. I'm serious. I sat in that room and I felt so blessed. I felt so honored because, like I said, crypto is the love of my life. I really feel like I was put on this earth to teach it. I could do it in my sleep. And I watched you and I was like, I said, I could tell you love what you do.
Yeah.
I watched you. I watched what was happening that weekend. And I was just saying to myself, like, I could tell, like, you do it. Like, you're so passionate about it. And as you said, you keep the emotions under control.
Gotcha.
And for me, whenever I realize where I'm out of pocket in certain areas and I know that I need to fix that, and I'm watching it because there's a couple of gentlemen that I love that I'm always interviewing on the show as well. And I'm realizing that common denominator is everybody. They so cool.
Yeah.
Everybody has this particular type of their character. They're very charismatic. And I laugh because I'm like this popcorn, right? And I laugh because I have to get on them too sometimes outside of here. But when I'm around them, I giggle because I'm like, man, if people only knew, y'all be popping off sometimes.
Yeah, they pop off.
They pop off too.
We pop off. We just know when to pop off.
They know when to pop off. I got to
Yeah.
get that under some control. So I started laughing. And I wanted you to share with us today. Let's talk about what MWR has to offer.
Yeah. So
it is such a blessing.
MWR stands for Make Wealth Real. So what we do is really simple. Ironically, we have a framework and an acronym called SIMPLE, because people think money and wealth is complicated. And society, believe it or not, capitalists want you to believe that, so you won't even think about getting it, right? I got to understand the stock market. I got to understand the Dow Jones. I have to understand real estate. I have to understand banking. I have to understand insurance. No, not really. You have to understand 2 things. Never forget this in finance: terminology and perspective. That's all you need to really understand in finance initially, is terminology and perspective. Once you understand terminology, certain words will no longer affect you. So when you hear the word trust, you won't run. When you hear the word interest, you won't be afraid of it. When you hear the word or the rule of 72 or the power of infinite returns, these are things that we teach. You won't be afraid of it because we've changed your perspective on what these words mean. So right now, if I say bond, a lot of people don't know what a bond is. It's a very, very conservative investment, right? If I say stock, a lot of people don't know there are 3 phases: pre-IPO, IPO, and secondary market. So once you start understanding a little bit about the early introduction to wealth, you got a different perspective. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So once you understand terminology, you have nothing to fear. You're like, wait a minute, you can be in a room now and a person can say something. And this is what I teach my organization. A person can say something about a trust fund and you can contribute now to that conversation. A person can say something about precious metal and you now know the difference between currency, which is cash, and money, which is an asset, right? Okay. You can now purchase money with your currency. When you understand these things, you have a different perspective. So what we do is we break it down into a framework called SIMPLE. Shift, increase, multiply, protect, and leverage everything. That's what SIMPLE means. First, we have to shift your money away from the entities that took it from you. What good is the I, which is increase your money, if you're not doing enough with the money that you got going out? Does that make sense? Why would I show you a return of 14%, 18%, 32% when your credit cards are bleeding you 26%, 19%, 28%? So it doesn't matter what investment I show you if you don't understand how to shift your money back away from the entities that shifted it away from you. So the shift is where everything begins. The S in SIMPLE stands for shift. The government is in your pocket because they take a third of your taxes. If you have a W-2, a third of your income with taxes. If you have a W-2, there's nothing wrong with that. In Extra Digit, you'll never hear us bash a job. Love your job. Be thankful for your job, but don't be satisfied because the W-2 means by law, by code, highest tax. See how I'm showing you the semantics?
Right.
So when you hear W-2, you're like, okay, that's a job, code for a job, but it's also the code for the highest tax. That's why you get your net when you get home. You don't get your gross when you get home, but your net makes you feel gross. You get it? So when your net makes you feel gross, you'll start saying, wait a minute, let me shift those tax dollars back in my pocket. The fastest way to do that is a home-based business because the government lets you play by a different set of rules if you have a home-based business. Now, by simply showing that concept of shifting, we can increase your money. We earn up to $15,000 per day by simply sharing that shift concept. So what are we doing? If a person doesn't want to shift their money back from the government and away from the banks, there's no need for me to talk to you about the IMPLE because you don't even want to shift. Shift don't even require. Diana, shift don't even require nothing. For you to shift, you need to start a home-based business, which you already have a social security number and you already have a house or apartment, also known as your domicile. Your house or apartment and your social is all you need to start a home-based business. So, Brian, what's the home-based business? You looking at it. We show you how to use this simple framework to shift money back to you, introduce people to our wealth worksheet, which is the video where people can take a blank sheet of paper, watch me break it down, fill in the worksheet from the video and increase their money. So that's how I was able to purchase my condominium in Dubai. And I was able to purchase 23 acres now here in Atlanta, Georgia with a lake. I was able to, all my cars are paid for. I have 7 of them. 4 of them are vintage. Assets, I have a personal motto. If it doesn't appreciate, I don't appreciate it. Okay?
I'm about to go back and watch the video.
All right, go watch that again. Yeah. Now, y'all don't be taking my quote, but I'll give you that one for now. If it doesn't appreciate, I don't appreciate it. And what that means is I purchase things that grow in value. So when people say, how do you increase your money? It's because I share how important it is to shift. So that's the I in SIMPLE. Now we make $10, $20, $30,000. We have those type of months. My business partners are buying their dream homes. We're purchasing land in California, Southern California, where the Olympics will be next year. This membership gives you access to resources and lets you in rooms that normally you wouldn't be let in. I wouldn't have known about the land in Southern California had it not been for this membership. Right. Which brings me to the M in SIMPLE. Multiply. So now you shifted your money back to you, away from the banks, interest, away from the government, taxes. You now increase your money by showing people how to shift. You see what I'm saying? You now multiply the money because now you got the money coming back from the government because you got a home-based business. You got the money coming in from the banks because you lowering your interest rates. You got your money coming back from big business because now you're not out spending frivolously. Right. Now you got some money that you didn't have. You had the money, you were just giving it away. Now we got the shift money back. We got the increased money. So we got these streams of income coming in. We get paid every day, by the way. Now it's time to multiply it.
Wait, you said that too fast. Say it again because they didn't hear what you said.
All right, here's what they need to understand. we got the money back from the government. That was your money going out because now you got a home-based business, so your taxes are down. So that's net. No better savings than tax savings. People don't understand that. It's called phantom money. Phantom money is the money you make between the lines that you were giving away to the government, but your home-based business allowed you to shift it back. So it's actually in your account because instead of you paying your cell phone bill and your internet bill and your square footage in your house and your light bill and just turning those things into just expenses, now you turn them into expenses because they're necessary and also deductions. So now that money that you were giving out away lowered the amount of money that you gave the government. So that money's still in your account. We'll talk about that in more detail. That's the shift. So now you got all this money coming back to you. On average, our membership averages about $2,187 per month back just with the S, the shift. Now, when I show a friend of mine that, you mean to tell me I can make 100 a day, 3,000 a month, 650 a day, 19,000 a month, 1,500 a day, 4,500 a month. Brian, how do you know? Well, because that's where I am every day. I showed it to you. You're like,
I seen receipts.
I was like, I would show you this. I don't show everybody this, but this is the daily checks, right? So we increase. Now here's the key. This is how I lost my first $1 million. Nobody taught me the M, the P, the L, the E. You got to multiply that money. So when you're 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, and you got this money coming in residually, and you come from not much, you think you've made it. So you like, hey, I made it. Well, the government showed me quickly because I didn't do my taxes right. They made it. Yep. so I got audited. So I wasn't a real frivolous guy. I wasn't out buying Lamborghinis and acting crazy. I just got audited. So I got caught up in this tax thing and owed all these back taxes. So I had to start over. But now we teach you how to give it to experts and multiply your money. How can you get land wholesale? Newsflash, the Olympics will be in Southern California in 2028. It just left Paris. Our membership gives you wholesale access to land in Southern California. Newsflash, currency has to flow. That's your dollars. But you need to take your currency and purchase some money, like precious metal. People collect. I have a friend of mine that's approaching $1 million net worth. He collects memorabilia. I have another friend of mine approaching $1 million net worth. They have a commercial property. Their land was paid for with cash. The commercial building is paid for with cash. You see? Oh, wow. So we're buying assets. My condominium in Dubai, cash. Now that's multiplying your money. You see? Then we got to protect your money. What good are all these investments if you don't do the P in simple, which is wrap it up, and not just any trust, a complex trust written under common law. So you understand there are 3 jurisdictions. Statutory law, that's the state level. That's what your attorney friend is going to teach you. Right. Federal level, that's all 50 states. Right. You know the difference between a federal crime and a state crime. Right. Okay. Right. We know the feds don't play. They don't play. Right. Okay. Then you got what's called common law. Common law is what was in place before there were 50 states. Okay. So if there was a law in place before the IRS was in place, what were they doing legally, ethically, and morally before 1913 when the IRS and the Federal Reserve was invented? So if the country was got its independence in 1776, July 4th, and the IRS didn't come around until 1913, what jurisdiction were they operating under between 1776 and 1913? Common law. Very few people understand common law jurisdiction. So you don't have to be smart. You just got to know a little bit about terminology and and perspective. Okay. Now I can walk in any room. I'm not the smartest person in the room. In fact, I kind of play the back. I just like to listen to conversations and see what people are saying. I say, okay, that's a good idea. She knows what she's talking about. You know what I mean? But now we need to protect your assets in a complex trust. So now my son is not a beneficiary. He's a successor. Okay. If something happens to dad, which almost did, I had brain surgery. I had brain surgery on Christmas.
This past Christmas?
Yeah.
I heard you said you had brain surgery, but I thought it was in the past.
No, I had brain surgery 7 months ago. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was in a car accident right here on Camp Creek. Yeah. So called cerebral hematoma, brain bleed. Oh, so yeah, a lot of factors, but I'm hit by this car, go to the hospital, surgery that night. I mean, it's a lot of everything happened so fast. We got a helicopter for you. You got to have brain surgery tonight. So I was in the hospital from Christmas Eve to New Year's Eve. Oh my! Last year, 2023.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so all
I
these
would have
factors.
never even thought that.
Yeah, thank God, right? If you don't look close enough, you look close enough, you can see it. But yeah, so all these factors happening so fast. What's my point? If God had wanted me to shake his hand that night, thank God he didn't. But my trust fund was in place. You see what I'm saying? So now my son, all my assets, we're not tied up in probate.
Right.
It's no shade, but like James Brown, it took like 13 years for him to untangle that stuff. Prince, I don't think had a will. You know, I don't think Aretha Franklin, I don't think had a will.
I don't think Whitney had one either.
I don't know if Whitney had a will. So many of our greats, we just don't think anything could ever happen. So you got to get your trust fund in place or your stuff will end up in probate. And then leverage everything, man. We're leveraging our relationship.
Right.
We're leveraging this camera. We're leveraging social media. Why in the world aren't y'all using these things to make money? And why in the world aren't you using your relationships to get together and collaborate and not compete? So that's what Extra Digit is all about. Collabing, exposing, educating. MWR does the execution. That's our partnership. And then we don't allow a bunch of excuses. We don't allow negative energy. It gets snuffed out. I've actually seen people, their energy is so negative when they come in our environment, they X themselves out. They're like, you know what?
Wow.
I can't be a part of this. Y'all too positive. I'm like, thank you. Because we was gonna get you out of here anyway. Right. And no explanation, no excuses, and not all these emotions. And that's why we have so many people enrolling using that simple concept. The leverage everything is the key. If your bills are coming every month, you got to have residual income to pay them every month. Right. If your meter on your car, if your meter on your water and your meter on your gas and your meter on your electricity is spending every month, your money can't be linear. Your money has to spend every month. So every time a bill comes, I got a check that's knocking it out. As opposed to when I was working a job, every time a bill came, I had to put it in a stack and then reach into the hat and see which one gonna get paid this week. You know what I mean? So that's our simple approach to wealth. And since we've come up with that concept, we've attracted a lot of leaders like yourself.
You have no idea. I'm telling you, I sat there. I sat there all weekend, and this is all I heard.
Yeah.
I heard for 2 days. I was mad I missed Friday because I would have been there Friday as well. Yeah. And I was just sitting there like, yo, he's just dropping gem after gem. And it just made me say, you're right. As far as we hear all the time that celebrities didn't have their house in order.
Yeah.
All of this money. And they
either never got to it or they never got to it or never understood it.
And that's what I'm saying. That was the whole purpose of me. I said it to a few people on my team. I did not get to everybody. I figured I'd put them on the show today and let them, hear this, the show, and then we talk about it afterwards. But the people I did say it to, I was like, I wanted to scream from the rooftop, like, God blessed us to position ourselves here financially. Please don't let us be in the same situation as everybody else. Because to me, I feel like sometimes I'll go as far as to say it'd be ignorance on our part when we just think, well, I'll deal with that later. I'll get to it. Or I'll figure it out. Because I was trying to explain to them, I said, listen, the young lady who caught me she makes millions of dollars a month. She is, if anybody knows what a cashback, that cashback option is on a credit card, she was the president of Discover Card. And she picked up her phone and called me and said, Diana, you need to get a trust. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to do with the trust? Like, where do I go? What do I do? She's like, oh, no. That one's on you. I'm telling you, you need it. It's been in my mind to tell you that. So I'm just going to drop that in your lap. And she talked about the jurisdiction. She said, pay that attention. You live in Georgia. Make sure that you have done your research. So for months, I've been looking at different trusts. I probably spoke to maybe 4 different attorneys. And then when I got to MWR, I heard you talk about Tiger Woods. Can you tell that story with Tiger Woods?
Yeah. So his trust is being sued because it's not only is he getting sued, but his trust is being, what I was to say, pierced, because it was written under statutory law. And I'm not a trust expert. Remember, I'm an educator. The experts do the work, but I'll just give you some prelim. Most of your favorite entertainers aren't even packaged right. Here's why. I want y'all to think about this. information and knowledge is either private or it's public. So lawyers went through the public school system. When you pass the bar, look at what bar stands for. Go Google it. British accreditation. If you know your history, and I'm gonna get back to Tiger Woods, America broke away and spun away from the Britons. What was that fight over? It was over taxes. So we came over here because we got tired. Americans got tired of the big bad wolf known as Britain, and the Patriots beat the big bad wolf and spun off and became America. Well, the reason they were upset, remember the Boston Tea Party?
Right.
We dumped tea into the Boston Harbor and all that. That was all over what? Over taxes. Well, what happened was that's the only war where Britain lost, but they stayed. I want you to imagine you get your butt kicked, but you say, all right, y'all whooped us. But here's how y'all gonna do it. Okay? Now, y'all whooped us, but here's what y'all gonna do. We ended up bringing the same laws from Britain to the United States, even though we wanted our independence. But that's why America still bowed to the Queen. If you notice, we still bow to the Queen. We still care about what happened in England. It's because they're still our parent. My point is, lawyers pass the bar. British accreditation, I believe, registry. Don't quote me on the article, right? So that's statutory. Can a lawyer in Georgia practice in California? No.
He's not licensed.
He's not licensed. A realtor in Chicago can't sell houses in DC. They're not licensed. Certain licenses are per what? Per state. Okay, that's called statutory. Federal is all 50 what? All 50 states. So that's a different jurisdiction. Well, private information like common law has to be taught to you by somebody with a lineage from back then. So if the educational system only teaches you what the endowments allow them to teach. I'm getting a little deep, but stay with me.
Right.
Rockefeller. Well, his wife's maiden name was Spelman. Hint, hint, clue, clue. So if Spelman is getting huge endowments from Rockefeller, Spelman and Morehouse, for example, and I'm a Morehouse graduate, so it's not a knock against them. I'm just giving you the facts. Colleges have to teach what the endowment and those big donors say, you're going to teach this. So they're not going to teach you common law. They're going to teach you what they need to teach you. Right? So the Dewey Decimal System that we use, Dewey was Rockefeller's homeboy. You understand? So all of this old knowledge that we get is what they want us to know publicly. But I'm here to tell you there's a private set of information that's passed down. How to make your life insurance policy. The beneficiary of the life insurance policy is not a person, it's the trust.
Right.
Because a person will create a taxable event. Right. So now the trust becomes the beneficiary of the policy. That's why you really don't know how much the Rockefellers are worth, because every time somebody dies, the trust fund get a huge payout. Look, I'll say this and I'll get to Tiger Woods. When y'all get a minute, I want you to Google Jim Harbaugh, the Michigan State, now he's with the Chargers.
Okay.
But when he was Michigan State's coach, I want you to Google Jim Harbaugh life insurance. He took his payments. He took a salary of like, I believe, $2 million a year. He wanted the rest of his money from Michigan State in life insurance. Okay. I want you to Google it. Watch how he structured it. Somebody has to teach you that stuff. They're not teaching you that stuff at the university.
Right.
They're not teaching you that stuff in high school.
Right.
Somebody got to say, hey man, start your trust fund. Make your policy the benefit. Make your the beneficiary of your policy the trust. Start your business trust. Start your family trust. Start your family foundation. Yeah. Send all the proceeds to the foundation. Get tax exempt status. See, somebody got to teach you that. Ain't no educator in your economics class or marketing class or accounting class going, how do you give the government as least amount of money possible? Right. What's my point? Thank you. Even the greats, Tiger Woods, is surrounded by great advisors. But if nobody taught them common law, how you gonna give Tiger a common law trust? You're gonna go to the number one attorney in the state and he's gonna give you a statutory trust. Right. I don't even want to mention names, but let's just mention the greats: Prince, Aretha, Whitney, if that's the case, James Brown. It's not a knock against them. you surrounded by great people, but they can only give you what
they
learn.
have, right?
Right. So somebody has to give you the private side of the information, and that means somebody from the Carnegie family who taught a grandchild of a Carnegie, who taught a great grandchild of a Carnegie, who taught a great grandchild of a Carnegie, and then one of the Carnegie decided to teach us. That's the lineage that we come from.
Nice.
You see what I'm saying? A Ford has to teach a Ford who taught a Ford, and then you happen to be the person who knew one of the Fords, so they pulled you aside and said, look, you're not structured right.
Right.
That private information is passed. If you get information publicly, I can promise you 9 times out of 10, it's watered down.
Right.
That's the purpose of it. No, we got to pay some bills. I'm sorry.
No. You're good. But listen, I want you to talk a little bit more about the memberships, because for me, that's how I learned it was MWR.
Yeah.
And that's what they said. You need a business trust, you need a family trust, and you need a foundation.
Yeah.
Because the business trust is going to, I think, gift it over to the foundation trust, and then you'll be able to write it off. And then with crypto, like right now, you have to, like, the IRS wants 40%.
Yeah, they
But
changing
from the information that I got, I might be looking at like 5 or 40. So I
Capital
asked
gains,
myself,
yeah.
right, do I want to, I got 2 choices: pay the IRS 40 or pay MWR. I chose the business side of it for $249.
Yeah.
And then $149 a month for a membership. And I was like, 40% or 5, it was a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit more
For
about
sure.
the different memberships
Levels.
that come along with it?
Absolutely. So in the membership, first of all, so there's only one membership.
Okay.
Right. Now, there are different things in the membership based on where you are in your life that you can take advantage of now, you can take advantage of later. But the membership is only $149 per month. Okay. Right. And you'll be surprised how many people are like, wait, per month. See, they make the mistake of associating the word per month with the bill. Isn't it amazing how many people want residual income per month, but they don't want to pay nothing per month? You ever thought about that? Everybody want to go to heaven, but don't know why nobody want to die. Everybody wants residual income and wealth, but then when you say per month, they're like, I can't take another per month. No, that's because you're thinking about bills. $149 per month gives you access to thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in savings. So that's called an investment. I'll pay $149 per month if it's bringing me back thousands per month. So what that entails, entry level, we call it 3 down and 1 up. 3 things are going to go down. Your taxes, we have enrolled agents that do your taxes. Not CPAs, not accountants, enrolled agents, EAs. That means they were certified by IRS standards. They speak 80 different languages. You got a hotline. They do your taxes for you. That's included in your membership. Number 2, we then take the tax dollars and put it into our debt to wealth program. Okay. Now you got the interest going down. We got people that were on paying student loans off. It would have took them 72 years. Now the student loans paid off in 5. Then your debt is down, called debt to wealth. Then we got your bills going down. So that's 3 things going down. We negotiate your bills on your behalf. And then your credit score goes up. We've been, our partner with Credit Restoration has been fixing credit for over 30 years. Right. So 3 down and 1 up. They took me from a 734 to an 811. The biggest swing I've seen is from the 300s to the 700s. She now has her own apartment. She got her own car, no cosigner. Her identity was compromised. So her score was 300. Okay. I didn't even know you could get 300. She up in the 7s now.
I thought it was 5.
Yeah. So 3 down and 1 up. Okay. Taxes down, debt down, bills what? Down. Right. Credit score what? Up. Now, when you're ready for the next level strategies, now that you got your household in order and you got some money coming in from the shift in simple, the S is shift. Now let's go over here to the big boy strategies. Okay. Let's purchase some land. Southern California has the most valuable land right now. The Olympics is coming. Go green, the green energy movement, improving your carbon footprint. All that is in Southern California. Just like in Northern California, they started the Silicon Valley trend. Okay. Google, YouTube, that's called Silicon Valley. If you could have invested in Silicon Valley in 1980, do you know you'd be today?
I couldn't even imagine.
Okay, here it is again, Southern California. That's the land play. Becoming your own bank. A lot of people don't know that insurance is a private instrument that you can use as a to protect some of your assets. Mm-hmm. So we use insurance as an instrument. The trust fund, the complex trust, the business trust, the family trust, the foundation. Right. That's how you get down to the 0 to 5% tax bracket, because you can donate money to your private family foundation. Let me ask you a question before we go. If I can give money to the Red Cross, when I give money to the Red Cross, can I write it off?
Yes.
When I donate money to what's the one with the children? Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish.
Can I write it off?
Yes.
If I get them $100,000, can I write it off?
Yes.
Then why can't I write it off to my family foundation?
That's because we weren't educated and we don't talk about that.
Correct. So people say, people come around, well, Brian, man, if you do that, you can't spend that money. I ain't supposed to spend the money. It's called a private family foundation. It's for my grandchildren who are not even born yet. So when you bring that mentality, when you bring a $149 a month mentality to a multi-million-dollar business, that's where we come in and got to clean you up. You see what I'm saying?
Listen.
Okay. And so you got your next level strategies, the precious metal. People don't know that silver is more valuable than gold. You've been taught your whole life, gold, gold, gold. No, silver is actually more valuable than gold, right? So your precious metal, you're becoming your own bank. You got your complex trust fund. You got land banking. These are what we call some of your next level strategies. So once we get your finances right with the entry level strategies, these take a simple upload for $149. Then you got the next level strategies for the same $149, but those are investments. And then they do a consultation with you via Zoom to see what you're ready for and what you're not ready for. Then you add $100 if you want to one time, not monthly. And now you got a business with that $149. That's a home-based business with all these experts, and $100 one time allows us to get paid for sharing that video.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, you know we on air, and I know you well better than that. I know you're not going to embarrass me on air when I say we got to come back and talk about this again.
Yeah, man, we'll come back again. Money's so vast. It's so many. We can break down each letter.
There's so much that I still want you to talk about because people don't understand. I listened to VP Harris last night, and the very first thing she said was she wants to help small business owners with a $50,000, in business. And I'm like, I wanted us to talk about that, but we're going to run out of time. But I want to say, please, can we come back?
Yeah.
Because that is one thing that I definitely wanted us to talk about that we need to revisit, because I see so many people out here getting in trouble about those PPP loans and getting in trouble about the ERC 20 money that they weren't entitled to. And that was one thing I also learned from you that weekend, is that MWR can structure you properly where you are a legitimate business.
Yes.
And you can qualify, for the money that they give to business owners, not necessarily just the stimulus that they gave to individuals and employees.
Think about it before you go. Think about it. Anytime the government wants you to do something, they give you a tax break. That's their incentive to do it. Am I making sense?
Right.
If you put solar panels on your roof at home, you get to write that off because they're trying to encourage you to go what? Go green.
Go green.
If you get married, you get a tax what? Deduction. If you have children, you get a tax what? Deduction. The government's way of incentivizing you to do something is to take it off your taxes, right?
Right.
If I own a house instead of an apartment and I become a homeowner, my interest on my mortgage is tax what? Deductible. That's their way of encouraging you to own a home. So if the government is giving you tax deductions to own a business, they must want you to own one. Because everywhere else in your life, when they want you to do something, they give you a tax break.
Right.
So if they're allowing you to pay them last and pay yourself first, deduct all your business bills, lower the amount of money that you report legally, ethically, and morally, and give them less, why wouldn't you pay $100 and start the home-based business that allows you to play by the rules of the wealthy? That's just common sense to me. This is not a presentation. This is an IQ exam. Period. So pay the $100, get your home-based business, get the membership that comes with it, and let us show you how to get paid every day in this simple format.
That's what I learned.
This is where she is, man.
That's what I learned that weekend. So I want to thank you guys for joining us here each and every Wednesday from 12 to 1. I promise you, Mr. Beane will be back so we can finish this conversation, because I absolutely love listening to him and learning from him. And I made a decision that I definitely wanted him to be my coach and to make sure that in this next season of my life, I am structured properly. So thank you guys, and we will see you next Wednesday at 12 Eastern Standard Time. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'll be
today.
back. We'll break each one of them down.
Thanks for tuning in to Legacy Crypto Builders with Diana Townsend here on Hits Radio 92.3. Remember, every Wednesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're here exploring revolutionary blockchains that shape our future. Continue building your knowledge and join us next week for more insights into the world of purpose-driven blockchain technology. Until then, keep innovating and shaping the future.